Hey, we got shot collar and crazy ass prison stories today. And today we're going to talk about a shot collar. I don't think people know what a shot collar really is sometimes in prison, but we're going to explain it today. And I guess to kind of bring it to people what it really is, GT, who's America's shot collar?
Well, heck, our shot caller in chief, Mr. President, there, old Donald Trump. He's definitely calling the shots. I, I don't. He's all over the map. I mean, the shot callers in prison, they weren't that all over the map. They kind of made up their mind and told you how it was going to go down.
No, and the shot collars in prison actually have, it's not to say Trump didn't have some good ideas, but they're buried so far away. But the shot collars in prison, their word was the damn law, and they got shit done. I mean, things you get politically in prison, shit moved. It happened. I remember one time, I'll give you an example. The shot collars arranged this thing, and we were in La Tuna, and in prison, you use tuna for money. Most people don't know that. Down in La Tuna, a package of tuna was $2. It was pretty good size. Anyway, you'd buy them from commissary and they used them out there. Well, the price in commissary went to $2.75. So all the shot callers got together and we had a summit meeting on raising the price of a tuna's value on the yard. So everybody agreed. So there was no differentiating and stuff there. They, yeah, I mean, think about it. And they got it done. And they did it about an hour. I mean, that's pretty good. You think about it. Shit, we got Trump's over talking to Putin, telling, "Oh, we're having a meeting." Putin's going, "Ah, bullshit," and nothing like that happens in prison. If they tell you they're doing something, by God, they're doing something, and you better follow the rule. Wouldn't you say that's an accurate statement?
And I'm sorry. When you started telling that story, it made me laugh because I forgot. How that it was like they would meet when stamps price would change and they would meet up and decide what a book of stamps was going to be worth because you had tunas, stamps, and a few other items from the commissary.
Then they had some shot collars that would kind of get off the reservation, do some really really stupid shit in their own group. Now each group, the Serenos had shot collar, the Texas boys had shot collar, the Independents, which was the guys who were not affiliated with the gang, they had a shot collar. But anyway, there was a group down there, some white guys, and they had their shot collar. Came up with this glorious idea how they can make some big money while in prison. And so they got their girlfriends out in the world to somehow get their hands on some social security numbers. And they started, and they got the paperwork and they started filing income taxes on paper and they give all the written information on white typing paper. They had one template to use. Then they do all this information. They mail it to the girlfriends and then they'd send in these false tax returns on mostly dead people, I guess, and get money back and had the money sent into their commissary account. Now that's some shit there. I
What
mean,
that was out that and that wasn't just at your place. That was a nationwide thing.
what was it? No,
Yeah,
just I don't. I
yeah,
gotta. I heard about that shit, man. Don't even talk to me.
yeah, yeah. Now I don't know if I remember some people they coming back on them, but I don't really know if they ever charged them or anything. But that's kind of funny that you say that. Like we had problems with shot callers at Victorville where I was. We had a skinhead, and the skinhead was just basically trumping up charges against some white boy, and then they would go in there to give him a beat, and then when they go to check you in and beat you up, check you in, they rob your locker, and it was basically they were just doing it to rob guys, and so we got a shot caller from the pen, this kid Brandon, and he was a pledge or AB pledge, and he came over and he got things in order, and he says, "Look, I was sent over here, you know, to take care of this." And actually, the warden got him sent over, got his security dropped because he said the white car, you guys are all fucked up. So he came on over there and he rearranged everything, and actually things ran pretty smooth. I have a little story when he told me he wanted me to be the unit rep. And I go, well, Brandon, I said, I was older. I didn't have to be, I thought. But he said, you're level headed and stuff. I want you to be the rep in E. And I said, nah, man, I don't want to be in charge of getting guys beat up and sent to the hospital and shit. And he looks at me, he goes, this ain't no fucking democracy. I said, you're going to be the rep in E unit, man. And I started laughing, and we were out there smoking weed, and he was a young kid, and I did more time than him, but it was kind of funny when he said it to me. I go, "Yeah, I'll work this out."
Yeah. That's where Donald wouldn't make as a shot collar in prison because you have to do something to get the they bitch slapped him all the way up down the hall. I mean, can you imagine that? But we had a guy who was this guy, you might remember this all happened in Florence, Colorado in the camp. We had a guy who was a shot caller down in Latuna. He came to the camp after I was there. And there was a thing going on in the camp. I know you got to remember this. The next part of our show in the 70s would be X-rated. Now it's probably only R-rated. Maybe it's not even R-rated, but I'll tell you this story. So these guys got this big thing going and about taking these dominoes, usually a little, and smashing them, smoothing them off. And then they had a guy in the camp who was I guess he was the domino specialist. And this is no kidding. He would slice their penis open a little bit and they'd push this little piece of domino inside the man's penis and they'd super glue it shut. Now you're going, what the hell is this for? And that's exactly what I said. And I'm going back to the shot collar now when I tell the rest of the story. This guy was in Latuna.
Uh,
He hated gays. This guy said he just couldn't stand gays. And on and on. He just went nuts over this stuff. So he gets into Florence and he starts talking one day. He said, I started that treatment. I said, what treatment? The dominoes in your dick. That's what he said. And I got mine done. I said, you what? He goes, yeah. So I'm sitting there. I said, let me ask you something. I said, I don't know why you're doing it, but I said, doesn't your penis have to be erect to do that? He goes, well, yeah. And who's doing this? And some guy who was in your unit was the guy doing it. Some dude is holding your penis, your erect penis, and you hate gays? And he'd lost it. He would never talk to me again after that. But now I'm gonna go to the second half of the story with another guy. And this guy, and I can't remember his name. He was a tall, dark-headed kid. Anyway, he had his done. He's the one, maybe you were there later, his penis got infected and they hauled him
yeah,
out
I was just getting
and
ready to tell that one. Yeah.
yeah. But you can tell the rest of that story
No,
there, but
no,
this
go
was
ahead. Yeah.
but half what him and his buddy both had this done, and his buddy was a short, fat guy. He just got his done. And they said, "Why did you do this?" And these guys are goofy. Yeah, he says, but I was talking to my wife and visiting. I was telling her about these guys who were doing this. She goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, "You should do that. That stuff just drives me crazy." I said, "Yeah." I said, "So you had this done when you're out in the world?" He goes, "No, no." I said, "I thought you told me when you met your wife she was a virgin." Well, she was. Then how does she know the dominoes drive her crazy in the penis? He goes, well, because he goes, I
No,
I gotta call home. I
no.
gotta call home. He goes, and off he went.
Oh, you ruined him, Jack. That wasn't right, man. He didn't even think
I
about that.
no, he hadn't dawned on him. The dominoes are driving her crazy, and he's in the joint. So they're playing dominoes in the world. Oh my God.
That's funny, Jack, because I knew some of the people Jack was talking about, and these guys would chip them dominoes off, and they would get emery cloth out of CMS, mechanical
Mhm.
service, and they would sit there and and I'd see the guy sanding them down because they made them into like little round pebbles, and I go, "What are you doing?" When I first saw it, they go, "Oh," and then they told me, I go, "Oh, you got to be kidding me, man," and I remember one of the guys you told me he got an infection, and and he was telling everyone, and everybody goes, "Let me look at it, man." And they pulled it out, and I swear his piece was all swelled up and black and blue along there, And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, man, what the fuck's wrong with these kids, man?
Yeah. It was some of the craziest I have. That's why I see people out here in the world, these guys that have these big holes in their ears with those circular things there.
Yeah,
People go, "Isn't that crazy?" No, that ain't crazy. You get some
yeah.
dominoes, I'll tell you what's crazy. That's crazy right there, but people actually think that, in a prison, people do the craziest shit you ever heard. I mean, these guys, well, first of all, they're in prison. As George Jung from the movie Blow told me all the time, you gotta remember, you're in prison. 99% of these people, they should be in the nut house, you know?
Well, that's an exaggeration, but a few of them definitely should be.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I go back to the I could tell you I told the story before, but this is a good example a little bit. This guy was a shot caller too, and, we had, in our unit in La Tuna, had these little lockers, and everybody had their tunas and mackerels and stuff in there, and we got a mouse in the unit, and the mouse would climb inside these guys' lockers, chew the bottom of the bag of it, and drink all that juice out of them things. That juice would run all over the locker and stuff, and we couldn't catch that little bastard. We tried everything. So one day, the shot caller, he and his buddy, they catch him. So I come into the unit that night. They said they caught the mouse. I said they did. We'd all seen the little bastard running. You just we had no. They wouldn't give us mouse traps or anything behind the fence. They said they caught him in a pillowcase or something, and so he did. Yeah, he's gone. Well, the next morning, I open my locker up, and this mouse runs out. But this one is all pink on one side, like he's got, he's shedding. And I said, "Hey, I thought you guys got the mouse." And they said, "We did." He said, "No, he just ran out of here, but something's wrong. This might be a different, he's all pink and stuff." They go, "No, that's him." I said, "What do you mean that's him?" Because the shot collar says, "Well, you know how it is. You got to do something when you catch somebody doing wrong." So we took him to the bathroom, we shaved him.
Prison
And
justice at its best.
and when I left there, that little bastard was growing his hair back and he was still sucking the juice out of the tuna bags.
uh,
Oh,
uh,
hell.
uh,
Anyway, DC, where you out there? You're out to our usual haunt out there. We got to mention to everybody. It looks nice out there.
yeah, yeah, I'm back over here at the Brew Crew in Riverside. Yeah, come on down, have some Prison Break products. I just poured me a shot collar and it in the keg blue. I got the last one. But come on down and enjoy a beer here, please. It'd be nice.
And if you guys like the stories, or if you don't like the stories, tell us. Either way, I don't care. We got thick skin. And, get down there, mash the button, push the thing on the screen or whatever it is, subscribe, and get updated every week. We're bringing some more stuff to you. We're getting people following us. A couple crazy old coots. Somebody must like us, and besides our mothers, and they both passed, we didn't think anybody liked us. So that's all I got is Jack and GT here from Fed Joints to Beer Joints. We'll be back next week. Hope you guys take care of yourself.
That'll do it, Matt. Thanks for following us or watching us. We appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Next week.